So we're done with question 33. Let's go to question 34. So price of elasticity of supply is 0.2. So put 0.2 on the left of the equal to sign is equals to. Now you know your elasticity is quantity over price. So what will happen to the quantity? So you want to know the x. So x over price. If the price increases by 30%, so 30% increase is plus 30%, but you don't need to put 30% in the fraction of v as percent, right? Because it cancels out at the end of the day. So 0.2 is equal to x over 30. Solve for x. That should give you 6, positive 6. So it increases by 6%. If it was negative, we put decrease. But it increased by 6%. The answer is E. So I'm just going to summarize. You can pause this video to read this. But basically, what is the total revenue of Zama? So at this point here, what's the total revenue? Total revenue, it's the price times the quantity. So at this point, it's the price times the quantity. Right? If you picture a number here and a number, you'll say that times that. So basically, if you think about it, it's the whole area. Because it's length times breadth. So it's length times breadth all the way up. So it's A and B. So the answer is area A plus B. Now just note over here, for this question here, I drew this red line to understand the question. So you can easily work it out when you get a question there. So it wasn't there before. Okay, so suppose initially the bar market equilibrium is over here. And the government decides to pose a minimum price. What would happen to consumer surplus? Okay, so at over here, what's the consumer surplus? It's basically toward consumer surplus. You draw a line in between the middle and go towards that. So like it's that line. And it's basically the demand curve, all the area below the demand curve to that line. So if I have to do it, it's basically, yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? It's all that. But now when the equilibrium is there, where is the consumer surplus? So the consumer surplus, right? So when I look at the market equilibrium, it's over here. So it'll be this small triangle now. You see? So it'll decrease this area and this area. It was an area and that area, right? What is the dead weight loss? Anytime it's dead weight loss, look for the triangle pointing like an arrow to the right. So you see BG. So what is dead weight loss? Basically means that you won't operate in this. Because if the equilibrium is over here, you're going to basically operate all year. But like you're not going to charge a good anyway here, the price, right? So it's dead weight loss. It's a graveyard. You're not operating anymore. Number 39. Cross elasticity of a closed substitute good. To work out cross elasticity, it's the quantity of good A over the price of good B. Right? They'll tell you which one to respect. The respect will be the denominator. So the reason why it's a greater than 1 is I'm looking for the positive answer. Because what's a substitute? So if you look at quantity over price, so let's see if the quantity increases of good A. So that'll be positive on top. And then because the substitute, if one price increases of good A, you'll buy more of good B in the bottom, right? So the price of, the quantity of good B will increase. So both will increase with positive. So that'll be greater than 1. Because think about substitutes. If you got a burger and you got a hot dog, if the hot dog price increase, you'll buy more burgers. So both are positive. If the price of burgers increase, you'll buy less hot dogs. So like both are minus, both are plus. That is why you get a positive answer. So that's a greater than 1. However, if the income of elasticity of demand of income, it's the quantity of the good over your income. Yeah, it's same how you work elasticity. Look at my elasticity video. I showed calculation. So quantity over your income. Yeah. So let's say if the quantity of one good from good A, suddenly increased from 10 rand to 20 rand, but your income went down. So that's the inferior good. That is what inferior good is, right? So you know goods that when people become poor, they use more. So like instead of using planes to travel to other countries, they'll use cars or trains. So trains are inferior good. When people become poor, they use more trains. So instead of becoming rich and using more of that product, you become poor and using more of that product, you see. So it'll always be negative. Now what you need to know for tax is this, right? So this is your original demand and supply. Everyone is happy over here. Government comes in, they say suppliers need to put tax. So now the supply curve will increase. Why? It'll be decreased because it's going to the left. Why? Because they're adding more tax, so it's going more up, right? Because now, if the product is 10 rand, and if they're putting tax of 2 rand, the suppliers need to add that 2 rand to the product of 10 rand, so now it'll be 12 rand. So they have to go up in price. They have to put their product of 12 rand, so they can pay the tax to the government and keep the normal 10 rand. So the answer will be A. Consumers, the after-tax equilibrium price is 70 rand per bottle. That's perfect. You see? 70 rand after tax. After tax, plus tax after tax. It won't be D. Consumers pay 80 rand per bottle of wine. Yeah. Or it won't be D. Producer receives 70 rand. Although that you might think it's correct. They won't necessarily get 70 rand. They can get 80 rand, 90 rand, 100 rand. Because that's the minimum price, so you can sell it for more. So A is the most correct answer. 41. When a consumption of good increases, the total utility always, no matter what, will be increasing, right? It'll be constant or increasing, but it'll increase. It'll never decrease. And marginal utility will decrease. Marginal utility, when you consume more of one good, like you consume less when you do another. For example, YouTube videos, there's 5 YouTube videos, different parts of different videos. First video will get the most views, second video less views, third views less, carries on. You benefit less as you go along. You get bored. 42. Which of the following statements concerning utility is incorrect? It will be A. Utilities is objective. It means it's objective means it's a fact. And directly measurable. No, it's not directly measurable. If I tell you the utility of eating, chocolate is 10. No, if you don't like chocolate, you won't even have a utility for chocolates. Utility is happiness. People like different things more. You may like chocolate, he may like pizza, you may like, anything, but you can't. So it's indirectly measurable. So answer is A. Now in the figure above, right, the marginal utility of the third crate of tomatoes with a serve C. So curve C. So what is the marginal utility of the third one? So for you going from 2 to 3, what's the difference? So at 3, how many products you got more? So at 3 over here you got 45 products. At 2 over here you got 32 products. So by going 3 products, how many products you increase? 45 minus 32, that is 13. Yes, so the answer is C. So you're looking at the distance from here to here. Okay, if the demand is 220 minus that, and this is that, which is the following correctly equilibrium price and quantity. Before even reading this, you can work out what's Q and P. So work it out. Say 220 minus 10p is equals to minus 20 plus 2p. Like this here. You work it out, you get Q is equal to 20. You get P is equal to 20. You put P in any of the equation, you get Q is equal to 20. So P is 20, Q is 20. Now if you look all over here, where do you see P and Q 20? The only thing is A. So A has to be the correct answer. So circle A. Now why I say it's a trick question? Because you don't even need to know what's a consumer surplus. We can't work it out over here anyway. Because you'll know why over here. Because I told you need 2 price points. Why? You'll see over here. Because over here, this question 45, the diagram is basically a demand curve. And you need to work at the surplus. Right? So, to work at the surplus, you first need to know the price. So that's 1 point of price, 14 rand. So as soon as I say what price, 14 rand, draw a line to the end of the demand curve. So now the consumer surplus is everything below the demand curve up to that line. And why I say you need 2 points? Because you want to work out what is the consumer surplus of this. Consumer surplus of this is this whole triangle. So half base times height area. So half of the base, what's the length of this? It will be 30. So half of 30 times the height. Now this is why I say you need 2 price points. Because how do you know this difference from this to this? You just say 20 minus 14, which is 6. But over here they only gave 1 price. So you can't work out the difference. That is why here you can work out the difference. So it's a half of 30 times 6. Yeah, you should get 19. Half of 30 times 6. Yeah, should get 19. 46. Zama has a monthly income of 300 Rand and you consume chocolate and ice cream. Suppose the price of chocolate is 10 Rand. Good X, price of ice cream is 20 Rand. Goodbye. Okay. So what is the relative price? Same thing, the relative price means opportunity cost. Okay. So now opportunity cost is of something is that good over the other good. Anything. The time it takes to make good A over the time it takes to make good B. That's opportunity cost. So it's of that product. Opportunity cost of pizza is that product pizza over the other product. And any variable. It could be time. It could be how many products made. But that is that. Now I can clearly see here X and Y. X comes before Y. So basically I'm saying in terms of. So basically what is the opportunity cost of chocolate in terms of Y? So Y is like the second thing. So Y will be the denominator. So I can just say right now 10 over 20, which is half. But here's the thing, right? You can normally say that, but they're saying you have an income of 300 Rand. So how are you going to do it? Ask yourself in good X, how many products you can buy for 30 Rand? 300 Rand. 300 divided by 10, that is 30 Rand. How many products you can buy with Y? You can buy 15. Now, what is the opportunity cost of good X with the income constraint of 300 Rand? You can buy 300 over, you can buy 15, which is 2. That is why your answer is D. 47, which demand curve said to slope downwards? Because, okay, so why demand curve sloped downwards? It's a definition you have to know. Law of diminishing marginal utility. As you get tired, you get less, you consume little. 48. Okay, so basically, so this one, marginal utility and marginal wine, all you have to do is calculate the marginal utility over price. For example, 230 is marginal utility over the 20, which is price, will give you 23. And you do this for all this column, do this for all this column in red. Then what you need to do is pick the highest. So like, I label this in blue from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So like, those are my highest numbers. And then I worked it out right here, right? Basically, if I total all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times 10 Rand is 60 Rand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. So 30 times, no wait. What I'm saying, 5 times 20 is 100 Rand. 6 times 10 is 60. So 160 the total. So I'm maximized. So now you calculate how many blue. So 6 is beer. 5 is wine. Yeah. I did this video in detail too. Marginal utility, full marginal utility video. I do it in detail. So watch that. I think my video be 2-3 weeks ago. 49. Sipo consumes chicken and Fanta. Is currently spending his income on chicken. Okay, so basically you need to calculate the marginal utility over price when it comes to this question. So let's do it for chicken. Marginal utility over price. So 45 is 45 and his price is 15. So 45 over 15 is 3. So C is equal to 3. So that's the marginal utility over price. And Fanta will be marginal utility over price is 20 over 10, which is 2. Now whenever you get this right, the one with the highest means, so if they're not equal, if they're equal, she should remain at that consumption. That's good. She's maximizing her utility. But when one is more than the other, she's not maximizing utility. Because she has to buy, now anytime you get this, when one is more than the other, she has to buy the more. So she has to buy more of this and less of this. Now, I know it won't make sense, like why this number is higher, but why are you buying more? But this is a fraction. It's marginal utility over price. So it's not like just 3. Like it's a fraction. So you don't need to look at it too hard. But basically, the one with the most, you need to buy that of more, right? So buy more chicken and less Fanta. Consumption of Fanta. Perfect, right? Because this is actually a ratio. So technically, it's the opposite, right? So that is why we do that. But yeah. On the next video, I'll complete 52-66. Yeah, yes, perfect. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Well, you're still watching part 3. Hopefully, your marginal benefit is not decreasing.